You know, when you think about Europe, you always think about Western Europe. Now, virtually Western Europe stands or used to stand for Europe. France, Germany, Spain, United Kingdom, that was Europe. Now, with the rise of Poland, there is an economy of 38 million people, $550 billion of GDP, and already the sixth largest economy in the European Union. Europe will be changing, and will be changing in a way that it's positive for the European economy. In other words, the rise of Poland will make Europe as a whole more competitive and will make it grow faster, which is good news for the global economy, which is good news for the Colombian economy. We knew where we are going from the very beginning. And the direction was clear. We wanted to be more European. In fact, Poles started out the transition with a bit of a feeling of being a worse type of a European, and with a feeling of having a strong obsession of catching up with the West. And this obsession has allowed Poland to almost fully import all the institutions, rules, and social norms from the West over the last 20 years. In fact, today, Poland's institutions are exactly the same as in Western countries. There's no difference, including the fact that Poland has entered the European Union 10 years ago. We're also celebrating. And Poland has fully adopted all of the EU rules that has ever been. And we're not talking about 2 rules. We're talking about 85,000 pages of EU rules that Poland has fully transformed into the Polish legislation, word by word. Poland imports everything. In fact, the story of Poland's success has nothing to do with natural resources. It's a story of strength of their muscles and mostly brains. Poland has 0 natural resources. We import every single barrel of oil and most of gas and most of other chemicals that ever exist. So all of this growth has been fully based on non-natural resource basis. So despite the tequila crisis, Asian crisis, Russian crisis, new economy crisis, and the global crisis, Poland's economy has continued growing. In fact, was the only EU economy that has grown throughout the global crisis between 2008 and 2012, which I'm showing in this chart. That is the level of GDP before the crisis and now, with Poland being by far the #1 in the whole of the EU. This is the chart about the success of Poland in the last 25 years. It compares GDP then to now. And again, the message is that GDP per capita, per person, increased more than twice in Poland, and was the best result among all the other European economies, including all the new United States, and also much better than EU15, the old Europe. And this is a chart that shows Poland's growth rate in the last 20 years relative to 30 other economies at a similar level of development. The message is that Poland is top 5. In the period between 1995 and 2013, Poland was the fastest growing large middle income economy in the world, and was only beaten by Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Panama. First, the news. According to the IMF, these are not my projections, Poland will be growing in the medium term twice as fast as Germany, the most competitive economy in Europe. Poland will also grow much faster than the West in the long-term perspective, or at least another 20 years. If you look at the projections by PricewaterhouseCoopers, the European Commission, the OECD, and many other countries, and many other institutions than projected. Poland would be an example of a country that has low political risks, according to the World Bank data, but has high GDP growth, above the regression line. In other words, you get high returns at the low risk of expropriation, of judges who are not independent and will give you a wrong verdict. This is a nice good to have for an investor. Rule of law, the same story. Poland is above the regression line, suggesting that rule of law is stronger than the level of income of the country. And the same with corruption. In fact, Poland, I mean, here, the higher on the list, the less corruption you have. So, for instance, Denmark is on the top and is one of the least corrupted societies in the world. But Poland, in very corrupt. And then it has fundamentally changed into now a country that, according to at least Transparency International, is less corrupt than Southern Europe. And the business climate has also improved, something I am proud to have been involved in as the World Bank, where Poland has improved from the 72nd position in doing business ranking to 45 now, beating all the Hungarians and others and being now close to Germany in the rankings. Poland, with its level of income, produces 15-year-olds that have functional literacy that is higher than of Germany, Belgium, Ireland, Netherlands, Austria, Denmark, Sweden, France, and every other Western European country. If I were a Colombian businessman, and if I was wondering, you know, Europe, $15 trillion of GDP, how do I start to sell my products into Europe? Would I choose Germany or would I choose Poland as the country that I would start from? It is much harder to start exporting products to such a developed, sophisticated economy as Germany is. And also an economy that is largely stagnating. Right? Germany is growing at 1.5% a year. It's slow. Instead, in Poland, it's still part of the same European Union. There are no barriers of any kinds, customs, whatever, that is really quickly growing, 3.5% this year. It's a lot for Europe, the second fastest growing economy in Europe this year. But this is a growing market that is in the middle of Europe, and if you produce something or sell something in Poland, in 2 hours on a truck, it can be sold in Berlin. It's an amazing launchpad and an economy that will be worth $1.5 trillion and will be firmly in the top 20 among the largest economies in the world. Already is the 20th largest, will be even closer to the top 10. Poles have more and more to say about what kind of a free trade agreement we're going to have, we Europeans, with Colombia. But Poles are inherently more liberal, also because of communism, more liberal than an average European. So the rise of Poland will be good for Colombia because we will want Europe to be more open. We'll want Europe to be more competitive. We'll want Europe to be more integrated so that it can grow faster, which is all good news to Colombia and to the global economy, in fact. Thank you very much.